Hello YouTube, welcome back to my video. In this video we are going to check out our first Hibernate application and what are the methods which we can use for writing the Hibernate and what are the prerequisites which we need before starting Hibernate. Let's check out one by one. So before starting to create your first application, you should have your latest Java installed in your PC and Eclipse downloaded and installed for the Java developers. You can see the description below to download it directly and with no JDK. So you have to install the Eclipse, and next is Mysql installed and configured. So you should have your port number configured for your Mysql. Please check out the link below. I have given that in the description to how to download Mysql and install it and configure it. Now the next is method of writing Hibernate application. Actually there are two methods which you can write the Hibernate application. Before even starting I also got confused which should I go. So the first method is by creating the POJO class which may have hbm.xml for each model class which it is having. So the next one is using by annotation. So as I told before even starting, I was also confused which should I go for. So I have searched over internet and uh, found some differences. What is using what is actually this POJO classes and what is by annotation. So here are some I collected some of the information which I got from internet. So here it's saying what is the difference between Hibernate mapping file and annotation. This is actually what it is saying to use by annotation. You can see the differences and the advantages. See the advantages using annotation, it's compiler safe and based on entity you can easily distinguish entity from no entry. So I conclude with this one this question, like we will go with annotation again. See here you can go ahead with annotation because XML configuration is really overused and saving metadata inside. So annotation will help you just read over that. It's a basic thing, and again there is no difference between using annotation and HBM XML because I personally say like you should go with annotation only because it's simple and good and easy to understand. And again someone is saying like it is actually outdated and we'll go with annotation only. So before going to our workspace in Eclipse, we'll check what's happening inside Hibernate on your first application writing. So you should have your Hibernate JAR files downloaded. I have given the link below to download it and take it. So please go to download it. And again the Hibernate should have the database configuration. It's actually done in your config file, which I'll show you how to set up that. And the model object with annotation like it is the model class which you are going to say you are say going to save a user class or student class which is having the ID, user ID and name. So it's a model object. And the next thing is Hibernate API will take out saying the model. So as I told in the previous tutorial, you don't have to worry about other thing. You just pass your object to the session will take care of the saving the object. Okay, so here the database design is not needed. So first we'll go for the Hibernate jar file, taking Hibernate jar file and configuration of a JDBC configuration, and let's move further. Okay, let's get started. So this is my Eclipse for developers, Java developers. Have my project explorer here. So I'm going to create a new Java project here. Java project, select Java project, click next, and I'm giving the name as first Hibernate project. Click finish, then just click OK. Perspective. Okay, now I have created my project here. Before that you have to get all your jars imported in your, just right click there and go to build path, go to configure build path. So I'm going to add libraries here. Now I'm going to click add external jars. So I'm going to import all the jars of our Hibernate. So inside this folder all the jars are there. Just copy all, select all the jars and click open and OK, click OK. So you can see all the jars of Hibernate I have already imported. Now let's go for creating the model class first. So I'm going to create a class now. In the package I'm giving as a model dot class model package name, I'm giving as model. Now the name I'm giving as student class, student. So click finish. So I have created the student class here, and now I'm going to create a file here which is actually the Hibernate XML file. I'm going to create a file here. It's actually XM Hibernate config file. So the name of the config file will be Hibernate dot cfg.xml. We are going to configure the entity class and define what all the variables we need to save in the table. So we have set three variables here in the student entity. So these are going to be the column names in the database. So now we want to tell Hibernate that this is actually an entity class. So for that, just add entity annotation just above your class. So you have to import this from java.persistence. So again you have to set this private the student id as your primary key. So for that, just annotate it as id. So again this is from java persistence entity. Okay, so now we have to create the getters and setters. For that I am just put in the getters and setters directly from Eclipse. So I have set the getters and setters. So this is the primary step. You have to annotate your class as entity here, and again you have to tell Hibernate which is the primary key for your this entity. So I have put entity here. So in the next step what we have to do is we have to configure the config.xml of Hibernate. So in the next tutorial I'll give a detailed introduction of this Hibernate config file. So first what you have to give is the DTD, or the document type definition, which is standard for all Hibernate config file. Now I have copied the other property information what we need in the config file. So the other informations are the database information. So I have again my driver class information, the URL, the username and password. I am going to show the example with Mysql database. So the Mysql driver class information is here, and next one is hbm2 detail dot. It's set to as create. In my next tutorial I'll say what is this create here. And now again next one is a property name dialect. We have various dialect for each database which we are using. If you are using Oracle database, you should have Oracle dialect, and if you are using H2 database, you should have H2 dialect. So this will depend upon what type of SQL queries you are going to use in your Hibernate project. Now next tag here is the property name show SQL, which basically means just telling Hibernate to show what all SQL queries you are running in your console. So this is basically a good feature from Hibernate. Is not, it will show what all the SQL queries it is running for each any operation which you are doing with Hibernate. So finally you should give a mapping details to your model class here. This is your model class student. So the class information should be given in the last section of your config file. In detail I'll show in next video what is this all about. And now we have set the config file, and we are all ready to write the main class to execute.